IT live on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm Joe Cook. That's Justin Wells. Thank you for watching. Justin, can you do me a favor and tell the people about our promo?
Absolutely. Come join Inside Texas right now. There really is not a better time. For only $1, you get 3 months. My people, that is going to carry you almost into you'll get a little bit into August camp. We'll give you a little bit of taste of that. We got OV season coming in June. We got decisions happening in July, and then always the best team intel top to bottom. It's at InsideTexas.com. Come see us now. $1, 3 months. Let's get ready. Let's do this.
Let's do this. Ian, it's kind of tough to talk about the team right now. However, Steve Sarkisian is addressing the Touchdown Club of Houston today. Our guy Evan Veith is there. He'll be capturing video. Should have that on this channel later. Always a good time hearing from Sark because it's one of those places where he's a little bit candid, gets to actually answer some questions from fans. I think my dad will be there, and that'll be fun to see. So, but we get into some kind of, I don't know, this is a type of year for power rankings lists, top players lists, which we're going to go over, and maybe just thinking about the existential nature of the sport. There's the playoff side of things, but then there's just the entire game. And something you wrote today was about how modern technology and just innovation in general is something that is really starting to take even a stronger foothold in college football.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody that had heard about the degree to which teams are using AI now. You can see like articles here and there. I don't know if coaches always get asked or are particularly forthcoming about the extent to which they're using AI, but apparently it is very extensive. People are hiring nerd firms to do analysis that the coaches wouldn't know how to do or think to do.
Or do quicker.
Yeah, but just like, for one, there's like using AI is not one of the reasons why it may not destroy everybody's job is because using AI effectively is a skill. And not like my wife is managing so many different things with AI these days. And it's like, I don't know how to use AI as effectively as my wife does. So you know what I mean? Like there's a skill to it. And there are people that are creating jobs and making profit off of using the skill of here's what you can get out of AI on behalf of a football coach whose skill set is not that, right? It's like, how do I convince a young kid to come play for me and then dog cuss him in the right way to get him to play a physical game where he can get hurt, right? Very different skill sets. Yeah, Justin, you're going to have to find a way to disagree with some of these takes. It's going to be hard for you.
No, I can't, man. I'm waiting for you to talk that mess about a 2014 playoff that's going to save college football. That's the argument I'm going to disagree with. I'm simpatico with you right now, brother. Keep that preaching on the pulpit.
All right, so here's what they're doing: is they're getting nerds to simulate seasons. Remember that part of Moneyball where with Jonah Hill, right? He's like, based on my projections, we need to score 895
amount of runs.
Yeah.
To buy wins.
People are doing that in order to generate wins. We need this amount of runs. The most efficient way to get this number of runs is on base percentage, blah, 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 blah. They kind of zip through that in the movie. I bet in the book it's extensive.
It really is.
So people are doing stuff like that with football now. And so one little thing that I just tucked away in the article is that I heard from this guy.
Let's get to that. Let's get a little tease because it's the tease I used on social media, and I think it really is one of the high points on the article. But I think there's a lot to technology just in general in the game, not just AI. And there's the smarter Google version of AI, which most of us use. And then there's like stuff that truly does automate tasks and spit out outcomes, which I think is like one step above. But you something you wrote just kind of brings in technology in general. And I love the point that you make because in the 2024 season, that was the first one where coaches had the green dot communication. The NFL's had it for, I think, 2 decades. Officially, I think there are some teams that kind of cheated a little bit and threw a radio in the helmet. But 2024, right after Michigan won the national championship, after coaches lobbed various specific and vague accusations at other coaches, maybe some within their league, maybe some on either side of rivalries, they put in these communication devices that's allowed coaches or the coordinator to communicate with the quarterback or usually the middle linebacker up to when there was 15 seconds on the play clock. And you mentioned, Ian, that imagine Gary Patterson with this. Luckily, we don't have to imagine. We do get it this year out in LA, but those TCU defenses would have been something special if old Gare was on the horn being like, hey, who's a really good middle linebacker for them? I should know.
Travian Howard.
Hey, Garrett Wallow, go right now, go.
Yeah, well, you can't tell him that, right? Because
if there's 18 seconds on the play clock, sure, but I know what you mean.
He can tell that, because the thing with this is a good way to frame it, and that's why I did it in the article. A guy like Gary Patterson will watch film till his eyes bleed and figure out all your tendencies and all your tricks of your offense, and he'll figure out how to thwart them with his defense. He'll figure out how to guess the right plays, dial up the perfect defensive call to bust what you're trying to do, and then put you into 3rd and long. And then he was also very good at dividing up his defense so that he could direct his players without losing cohesion. His front 6 and his back end would be separated, and then his back end would be separated into 2 more pieces, right? So that they could get very precise anti-offensive calls in without overcomplicating things for the players. And then he was really good at preparing his players to spot tendencies and to jump on them, or just to yell them in the moment from the sideline, right? That last one is a little trickier. With helmet comms, obviously, all that gets upgraded. You can signal in all your play calls to one guy. It'd be better on defense if you could signal it in to 2 guys, because on defense, you don't have one guy who's really in charge of everything like you do on offense. Ideally, you'd be able to signal into your free safety and to your Mike linebacker or something. That'd be the ideal. They only let them do it to one guy. But still, if you let Gary Patterson wait, see the offensive set up their formation, and then tell his Mike linebacker, here's the call, here's a check, then that gets really, really nasty.
What were some of and the thing is, as Gary Patterson starts to rise with TCU and its conference journey, Justin, this is where we see not only Mike Leach offenses start to take over, but Mike Leach offenses that are snapping the ball with 20 seconds left on the play clock.
Yes, I agree. They're trying to be more efficient. They're trying to utilize those last few seconds before that ball is snapped, before that comm goes off, before the players have to actually do their thing. You're finding to me, it's a tactical move by the defense to counter years and years of Mike Leach type stuff, veer and shoot type stuff. It almost felt like it was unfair at that time. And now defenses are catching up. And I think we see this in football cyclical every 10 or 15 years, where offenses are dominated by a certain scheme. Defenses figure out how to counter it. Then they come up with something like the Ravens with the zone blitz, or Tampa with the Tampa 2. And then that goes for 10 or 15 years. And then the offenses catch up, and then they do. I think it's such a unique back and forth. This right here might capitalize on that. We might actually see that, maximizing of your guys in your schemes, in your systems, and your developments.
And this also made Monday through Friday so critical, because it's guys, you're going to have 20 seconds, if that, to identify 3 receivers here, a running back here, and a tight end here. You've identified that. You have 15 seconds to identify what we've taught you they normally do. and then you have 10 seconds to get in position and get ready to. I mean, the peak of this to me is always going to be 08 Sam Bradford and OU. You have 10 seconds to guard Sam Bradford, and Iglesias was on that team, right? Like
Orlando. I mean, not Orlando. Joaquin.
Yeah, like those types of players that, you know, and that's what Will Muschamp did to 35 points that season, still pretty high quality. But that's what the challenge was in just giving these defenses so little time to where, Ian, remember, is this what we want football to become?
Yeah.
Real quick, though, just want to inject real quick. Nephew played quarterback last year in college. Similar situations. Getting the play in is so important in this era of college football. Getting it in fast, getting in it as quickly as possible. If there's a delay in getting that play to the quarterback and the quarterback getting it to the players and getting set and seeing the defense and reading it, those 20 seconds, it starts to close quickly. And so you're going to see efficiency even on the offensive coaching side. You've got to have your play ready for the next drop, for the next snap. Like if any delay, I've seen it happen at different levels of college football. If there's a delay, it is hard to get your guys set. You wind up rushing plays. You wind up losing drives. So it's essentially, it's made it where you have to be so sharp and on your toes and on guard, because if you don't get that play to the quarterback in enough time, he doesn't have enough time to get things set. He doesn't have enough time to get things read, and he cannot figure out the defense before that ball needs to be snapped.
There's two ways to do it. What you just mentioned is I didn't mention in the article, and so that's a good encapsulation of the broader deal with helmet comms. You have two options. One is if you want to go fast, but specifically if you want the defense to line up and then check back to the sideline, so that your coach can direct it, then you got to get that play call in and you got to get lined up fast, like you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to get checked to the sideline and get the second call before the clock gets to 15 seconds.
Exactly.
But there's another way you can do it. Make sure you get the play call in. Don't check the sideline. Get up there. Wait till there's 15 seconds, and then get into your actual setup, so that the defense doesn't have time to signal in their response.
Yeah, okay. I got
you. Hurry up, no huddle became hurry up and wait.
Yes.
And it allowed
good call, Joe.
Tom Herman did this. Like he ran hurry up and wait a lot. And Sam was very adept at making checks and understanding like, okay, you know, we got to the line of scrimmage at 25, but I'm not going to snap the ball until 5 after everybody's declared everything. Like that hurry up, no huddle became hurry up and wait, not only to keep substitution patterns the same. Yeah, you're trying to gas the opposing defense, but you're also trying to keep them in
favorable matchups.
Yes, yeah, favorable matchups. And the 15-second cutoff is really the thing that makes this possible, especially – you know, that they were doing this. Obviously, Ehlinger didn't have helmet communications. It was Quinn's second year and then Arch's first year. But they did have hurry up and wait. And one other like small thing is that it's only one player. So they're still, you know, gyrating and signaling and doing all that stuff on the sidelines as well. Like that still hasn't gone away quite yet.
Yeah, it's hard to signal in. It's hard to trust your quarterback to get information to everybody. Like some quarterbacks can do that, some can't. And then on defense, you almost have to, because you can't trust one player to get a signal and then communicate it to everybody in time. It's faster to just give the signal to everybody, and then everybody read the board and understand what it means for their specific position.
Well, there's usually one of the couple defenders in that grouping. Ian helps the others in some regards. I know I know the safeties help the secondary lineup if somebody's not, you know, getting it quick. And I know the linebackers can help with the D-line alignment.
But the quarterback is in this highlighted section. Like the quarterback has to know what the receivers are doing, what the offensive line is doing, and what the running back is doing, and how it all fits together. And there's not a position like that on defense. Like the Mike linebacker may have that for the front six, ideally. Maybe not. But he's not going to have an in-depth knowledge of what the secondary is doing. The free safety is going to have the secondary knowledge. He may have some of the front six too.
You'd like him to.
You'd like him to. He probably doesn't.
It's not required.
But even if he does, it's going to be really hard for him to run up to the front, tell everybody the right thing, and then run to the back when he's also has to. It just isn't. It's not like the quarterback. There's no top down. This guy directs everything on defense like there is on offense.
Defense is also that's such a different dynamic in that there's nobody on that side of the ball that just has that level of responsibility for putting people in the middle of things like a quarterback does and playmaking. Like the guy, I mean, put most as simply as I possibly can say it, he doesn't have the ball in his hands every play. And that is just a gigantically different responsibility to where, honestly, I think if you have that green dot, and Ty Anthony Smith, when he talked to the media during the spring, he mentioned that may end up being his role. We'll see. Could go to Biles, could go to somebody else. But like that, I think because the ball's literally not in your hands, I think that should allow the green dot player or require the green dot player to be someone who kind of has a good sense of everything that's happening around him.
That goes without saying, in my opinion.
It just can't. There's no one like that on defense, though. So
Well,
you just can't.
well,
you can't
in theory, there's not,
I mean,
Ian, but
I'm
there are
asking
guys.
for-
Caleb Downs was like that. There are guys that can do all that. There's just not many of them. Just
Right,
like
yeah,
the
I agree.
quarterbacks. There's just not a lot of quarterbacks that can do it either.
Like I'm
I don't
asking
know.
for Luke Kuechly, and I know that's a very high ask.
I don't know if Caleb Downs knew how to set the front. I don't know if Caleb Downs knew all their front checks. Like, hey,
Well,
you
with
need to-
Patricia throwing in all the stuff he did, I'm with you on that. But I'm just saying that I think he had the capability. And to me, that's like the first step to it.
Like I said, I'm asking for Luke Kuechly. I'm asking for a gold jacket.
Yeah, that's you're asking for the standard.
even the guys that do that in the NFL usually didn't do it in college.
Right.
That's just a level of the game. Like when you're also trying to sort of pass in the College of Education, which is not a high bar. Let's be honest. It's not that hard to get those degrees that all the support players get, but it's hard to do that and get a total mastery of your defense and be able to communicate everyone on your team what they're supposed to do.
You know who could do that today? Drew Kelson.
Yeah.
Buddy,
Now,
he could do that. He could have done that. He could have been Mr. Green Dot.
What about you bring it back to offense real fast before moving on to one other thing. You bring up Sark and DeBoer. Are they kind of there are some coaches, and Kendall Briles is going to be one. Josh Heupel, at least when it comes to the schedule, is going to be one where it is go, get. On this end of the spectrum, you've got Sark, who sometimes uses tempo, but when you're substituting as much as Sark and even Kalen DeBoer does, that's not really an option. So how have they really tried to make use of the play clock thing? Like, aside from kind of what we mentioned, are there any specific things you can kind of recall to where it's like less than 15 seconds? Okay, there's no more defensive coordinator talking in the linebacker's head.
I think if you watch the Alabama win over Georgia in the regular season, they had it down to a science where they'd like let the clock get to 15 or so. Then they'd start doing motions and shifts. And so then Georgia their players would have to react to the motions and shifts without any assistance from the helmet comm. And so like a lot of times, like a DeBoer or Sark are really good at doing a motion in a formation in a way that is designed to exploit the defense for a specific player or specific route.
Yeah.
But if you have time to see it developing and you have a coach that knows their offense backwards and forwards because it's his job and he's paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it, then he can recognize what's happening and tell you in the moment. Right. But if you wait till the helmet comms are off and then they start doing all these motions and shifts, the defenders have to actually figure it out on their own.
Yes.
And they turn back into 20-year-olds who have to remember what's our coverage if they check the trips, what kind of runs or passes do they like to do when they do this motion. And some of them can do it and some of them can't.
You figure out the ones that did AI with their homework with AI and the ones that didn't.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Before we keep going, got to show some love to our sponsor, that is Andre the Lawyer.
Texans know when you're injured, there's one name that gets results: Andre the Lawyer. Trust the team that has secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans win their injury cases. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, wrongful deaths. Don't let the insurance companies tell you what your claim is worth. Andre the Lawyer will fight for you. His principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait. Call 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. Contact info is in the description.
With this, Ian, you kind of get into a little bit of how teams might be using AI. And I think the overarching thing for AI right now is like time is money. And if you can use AI to help, again, expedite some tasks, it's something that you should definitely use. But you bring up a good, remember the Titans reference in this to kind of introduce this main point you were bringing up earlier.
Yeah, and remember the Titans, Coach Boone, Herman Boone, goes to Yost, and he gives him this packet of paper. And he's like, hey, I had the math teacher run through all our opponents' plays and formations, and he's got like their tendencies down to percentages. And Yost is like, this will make us very tough on defense, right? And it never comes up again. But that's really not new to football. I don't know if they were doing that in 1971 or not. But I know for sure they were doing it in the NFL for a long time, because there'd be coaches that like I don't know if anyone ever heard that legendary who's that? Mac. God, it's like the most famous sports YouTube guy. Works for ESPN, does game day. Someone help me out.
McAfee?
McAfee had this famous story about how they had this 100% trick play where he gets to score a touchdown as the field goal holder or something, right? And Troy Polamalu blew it up. And it was this big urban legend that's like God talks to Polamalu and tells him what to do. And then it turned out that all it was that Polamalu went to as a coach and was like, hey, we should change up our formation so that teams don't have us dialed in a specific formation when they have their sheet of paper that tells you what their tendencies are. And so they happened to switch it on just the play where McAfee thought he was going to get to run around free to the edge, and instead pull him off. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
The basically like zone on a field goal kick.
Teams have done this for years. Like Belichick used to like take garbage time and do things that would break tendency for the Patriots in meaningless games and meaningless situations, because teams would have a sheet of paper that said, hey, the Patriots are 80% this in this situation. And he'd like, man, let's make that 60% if we can. Because they're not going to look through all our tape and actually get the right. They're not going to know that we fudged the numbers on purpose. They're not going to be that careful.
They should, but in this age, they should be aware of that. Which that's just one more thing to throw on the plate of an 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old.
Well, the AI is probably not necessarily that unless you chart in garbage time, which the nerds.
Well, remember those kids that got hired by a few NFL teams? They brought them stuff about Notre Dame, and Notre Dame in one formation did the same thing like 92% of the time.
Right.
So you learn that tendency, and then you're like, all right, we got to put in a break. So it's like a counter for a counter for a counter. And then that to me becomes chess.
You can use AI to turn a Joe Schmo defensive coordinator into Gary Patterson. Because you can give him exact tendencies and percentages for every situation. And so he doesn't have to do all the studying and recognition like Patterson. It's just a machine tells him, and then he puts it out on his call sheet. He looks down at his call sheet, and it's like, oh, we should call this inside zone busting run blitz because they're 85% inside zone in this situation from that formation that I'm seeing on the field. You see what I'm saying?
The one
Hey,
thing,
and this is going to replace coaches' instinctive in-game stuff.
I don't
know if
think
replace
so.
it, but it's going to push it.
I don't think so.
It'll push it, Ian.
the one thing is that instead of a call sheet that looks like, I mean, this is about this refrigerator.
Break out the Jimbo one.
That's what I was about to say. Instead of a refrigerator parts pamphlet, it looks like a Jimbo Cheesecake Factory menu. Like
Well,
you do have to. I get what you mean, Ian, and like it will tell you 4th and 5 on the -30. It'll do this, and then it becomes the instant
Binder.
part is on the coaches to condense that information. Like this is just, I feel like, Ian, what you're saying, that it just maybe increases the overall amount of information that these guys then have to condense into useful ideas.
Yeah, and again, it's the same thing as some nerds are going to use AI better than some non-nerds. Some coaches are going to use this information and distill it down better than others. There was an article about Daryl Morey and the Rockets with Shane Battier, and they used to be able to give Shane Battier like insanely detailed specifics on like, hey, if Kobe's on this part of the floor, he's going to do this. If he's on this part of the floor, he's going to do this. You want to force him left in this situation, but in this situation, you just want to do this. And the Rockets would have all this info, but they didn't give all that info to their players because they would just freeze them up and they wouldn't be any good at it. But Shane Battier, they could throw a ton of stuff.
Everything. Shane Battier was a genius.
Yes, yes. So it's like it'll be like that. In some ways, you know, I think it could turn defensive coordinators into Gary Patterson. In other ways, it's going to turn some coordinators into the Ubermensch, and then some coordinators are going to like be barely keeping up. So,
but in general, it seems like the thing that you're trying to prevent, and great reference, Minority Report in this hat, like this is one of the best things I've ever seen, because I love that movie, and the fact that this is something that you had created. What was it? It's Agatha Christie and then one other one, right?
Yeah, I haven't really seen the movie all the way
How
through.
did we
Like
get an Agatha Christie reference?
The Precogs. It's a great movie. I don't turn it off. But it's, how do you make the Precogs wrong?
Justin, have you seen Minority Report? Maybe let's explain the idea here real quick. In Minority Report, they have these 3 twin children floating in water who can see the future, and they're like in a sensory deprivation type tank. And every once in a while, the precognitive trio of kids, of siblings, will see somebody commit a crime in the future, and then Tom Cruise and his team will stop the crime from being committed and arrest people for the crime that they're about to commit. That's like the that's the dystopian setting of the movie.
In this subconscious thought process, how long are you keeping them in the latency period?
Forever.
Okay.
And usually, like, the time that they stop the crime is like, if I'm about to stab somebody, it's like right there. Like they get
sounds like they ripped off Quantum Leap, TV show in the 80s.
Probably
they have.
Or they both are sourcing the same 70s sci-fi book. I don't actually know. But
so thank you for that review, though, Ian. I feel I'll give you 2 thumbs up.
Well, Joe has told you it's great. I think it's
right, but I mean, Joe says a lot of stuff. It's when Ian stamps it to where I'm like, put it on a Quay DVR.
It's pretty good. But I mostly wanted to draw Mike Elko in the tank. Getting a
That's Elko?
Well, that's Grok's attempt at Elko.
Because that's Elko minus 250 pounds, buddy. And maybe that's optimal Elko.
So Justin, there's a scene where the girl's in the tank and she goes, murder. And then so that's what, if you scroll down, we can see Elko.
Okay.
His A&M hat.
Spielberg directed it. We're getting a lot of good movie reviews over here. Now I've got to watch this thing. Murder, Texas play coming. Okay. I get it now. Sorry, Joe. Ian had to kind of give me that little 5-minute blurb so that I could be on the same page here, but because I hadn't seen it. But
I should make
I think it's a stunning photo of Elko.
We should all make Grok draw ourselves because he is.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Well,
I'm
it seems like it's
my own meme.
The overall point, though, is that in order to prevent Mike Elko and Avat from knowing what to do, you take advantage of play clock and comms rules to where any information that the Aggie information sphere, the Cold Fusion powered AI system in College Station, may have given him info about 4th and 3 and a pistol formation on the -37. You wait until he can't tell. I know he's not playing, probably not going to be the green dot player, but he can't tell Marcus Ratcliffe they're running outside zone. You need to go to this gap. You wait until there's no way for him to communicate and then run what could be a tendency breaking play or run something that you think is going to work.
Yeah, you have to trick the precog, which we won't spoil the movie for Justin or the viewers, but somebody figures out how to. Maybe I already said too much.
No, you know.
No, I don't think so.
I have no idea what the ending can be. And Chris Bennett's actually going to send me a Paramount Plus login password so I can check this thing out today. Thank you, Chris. Check my DMs.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. The idea is how do you trick, if you wanted to commit a crime, how could you trick the precogs so that they get it wrong?
Oh, man. I don't really know how to transition from that.
I do.
Well,
we got a top 100 players. We got a big visit weekend coming up next weekend. We got some stuff to talk about. And Ian and I have a battle royale over this 24-team playoff.
Oh, boy. I think next week when we hear from the SEC perspective may be the time to do that.
I'm with you, Joe.
Our guys at On3, Clark Brooks, every year he puts together a list of the top 100 players in college football. It's not just him watching tape. He uses some analytics. He uses some PFF grades. He uses a little bit of everything in order to put together this list. There are 6 Longhorns who made the top 100. There are 4 in the top 25. But there might be some placement that makes people a little bit wary, a little bit questionable. Do you want to just kind of stream through 1 through 25 or just stream through 1 through the first Longhorn and see what we bring up?
I need to see the top 10.
Okay.
The top could be good. 4 could be 9 could be 3. They're all kind of clustered together. And that's what college football is in 2026. There's like 10 amazing college football players, and they're all kind of clustered all there at the top. I think that's what makes this season so spectacular because that 2027 NFL draft is going to be a foundation for the NFL for 20 years.
I will tell you, there's controversy in the top 6.
There's controversy in number 2.
All right. Number 1, Jeremiah Smith. Any arguments?
Nope.
Not really.
He's really freaking good. Number 2, Dante Moore.
Yeah, okay.
Physical. He got the physical tools, but he ain't the number 2 player in college football. He's not even the best quarterback in college football.
I don't understand the fascination with him. Maybe I should watch it.
It's the physical tools.
Yeah.
He just overwhelms you with like velocity and arm power and the sexy version of quarterback outside of like using your mind and dissecting defenses and using your feet. He's more of a big pocket guy.
He didn't overwhelm D'Angelo Pons. I know that much.
No, he didn't overwhelm anybody.
Threw it right into the pond.
Yeah.
First play of the game.
Absolutely.
We're the championship in the pond.
There's a lot of holes in his game. Dante Moore could be a spectacular quarterback in the NFL. I believe that because he has the tools, but there are holes in this guy's game. I'll say this, Oregon could have a national championship contender, but they're not winning it with this guy.
Is he the best quarterback on the roster?
No, he's not the best player on their roster. No,
he's not. But
not even close.
I am not quick to argue with people who, when they make their 1A and 1B for the NFL draft, which is a different way of doing things, I am not quick to argue with people who make Dante Moore their 1A over Arch as a 1B. I see it. I don't agree with it, but it's not like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like,
They did the same thing with Amaliva over Arch in recruiting, remember?
Not me.
No,
But-
they did. The people
Yeah.
that like all the clicks to constantly put out re-rankings all the time.
I am 2 is lofty. I am not.
He's not
I'm
number
not
2 in
out on
Oregon.
Dante.
He's not
Especially-
number 2 in Oregon.
I don't know, man. He's got some guys to throw to. It's going to make life easy for him and make him look good.
If he makes life easy for himself, I don't think it's the offense of the receivers. I think it's him.
We'll see who's in Pasadena this year. Number 3, Leonard Moore.
A little high, but a top 10 pick next year. Going to play in the NFL a decade. Not going to argue that.
He's really good. He makes football 10 on 10. And that's valuable, especially when you're racing.
Does he make football 10 on 10 if he's playing Ohio State?
As
He's
close
really
as
good.
it can be when you're
Pretty
facing that guy.
He's pretty good.
Did he play in that game 2 years ago?
He was a
Probably,
freshman
but
in that
he was
game
a
2 years
freshman.
ago.
Did he start?
He had to start because they lost. Remember, they lost their 2 starting corners.
Well, it didn't go so great.
I just know that he grew up in Austin, Texas, and he had 0.0 chance of attending Texas.
Number 4, this is a controversy. Dylan Stewart.
Oh, that feels better to me than the last 2.
Well, I mean, it's obvious for discussion. I mean, he's not the top edge in college football, but he's one of the best in the country. So they can't put the number 1 edge at 4 because then there won't be any arguing. They put the number 2 edge at 4 so that they can have a debate, so they get replies and engagement. It works. We're talking about it right now. Dylan Stewart's a man. He's not
I don't
Colin
know.
Simmons.
I feel like Simmons and Stewart are both awesome. And if you prefer one over the other, I don't feel like it's that big of a
Stewart's your bigger guy.
yeah.
Stewart's the bigger version, kind of guy, Greg Ellis in a sense,
Simmons
whereas
is faster.
Colin is more of a Micah Parsons type. They're 2 different types of bodies, 2 different types of skill sets. Both are going to be outstanding in the NFL. I'm not going to argue with it, but I think it's funny they put Dylan over Colin because in a draft, Colin's going to go above Dylan. Probably.
How far above is my interest?
Maybe
this
1 or 2 picks. They're the
No,
they're
yeah,
1A and 1B when it comes to edge.
This
I mean,
this is one problem. This is one problem with this. While some of his peers have been more productive as underclassmen, it's not like there was somebody sitting in front of Dylan Stewart.
He
What
has
in the
picked up the
hell
height
is a
of
havoc
Murray.
goblin?
Dylan Stewart.
Let-
I guess it's because it says 88 pressures, 6 forced fumbles over the past 2 years.
Let's not make havoc.
That's
goblin.
not good numbers for a 2-year window.
Let's not make havoc goblin a thing.
I don't
Can
know.
we all
I-
agree that
press-
havoc
88
goblin?
pressures. If he's playing 24 games, like that means he's getting at least like
Well, right, because he's the only guy pressuring. That's why I think the numbers are skewed because name another guy on South
which would
Carolina.
lead to attention on him.
Oh,
He's good. I mean,
no, he
he's
is.
great.
He's
Yeah.
damn good. He's going in the top 10, Joe.
That's
you know
fine.
what? He'd go before David Bailey
He
in
would.
a blink.
That's great. Havoc goblin is a stupid phrase. Well,
Malik,
there's
all
actually
right,
literally a term for that. It's called a gremlin.
don't cover him in water. Malachi Tony, number 5.
I'll take it.
You know my take about KJ Lacey and how he was still really productive without Ryan Williams on his team.
Yeah.
I never really thought to apply that to Malachi Tony and Dia Bell.
Oh, they were on the same team.
Yeah, Malachi Tony on 90. I can pull it up.
I thought Tony played quarterback his first 2 years.
I think, yeah, Tony went to American Heritage. And granted, they may not have had a ton of overlap together.
They didn't have much overlap.
Okay. Well, what was Tony?
No, I think Dia was at Mater Lakes Academy first. I don't know how long Dia was at Heritage. I think it was maybe only 2 years. They should have crossed paths. I can't argue with Malachi Tony. What I saw him do as a freshman in 2025, I have zero doubt he'll repeat that in 2026.
I'll have to
He may exceed it.
I'll have to rewatch, I guess, Dia's like sophomore film and see if there's a game breaker that he's throwing to every time.
Not like Malachi Tony. You can bet that.
Here we are at number 6. Colin Simmons.
Best prospect in the program.
Eh,
I think he's the best NFL prospect in the program. I think Trevor Gooseby has the most upside. I think Arch Manning has the most potential. I think Colin Simmons is pound for pound the best prospect in the program.
I take Arch Manning.
I would
see. Okay, if you already had a quarterback, would you take Arch Manning?
Who's my quarterback?
Fernando Mendoza.
I would take Arch Manning. I would take Arch Manning almost. I'm not. The only team where I wouldn't take Arch Manning would be like
the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that Colin Simmons.
If I can sit him for a couple years like Aaron Rodgers, that's great.
Okay. What if you're the Bears? Would you take Arch Manning?
Yes.
Oh God,
Yes.
yes. I mean, the Bears wouldn't. They're going to live in. They're going to die with that kid, Caleb Williams. But they should.
Chargers.
100% they would.
Let me think of one more.
Chargers would be a little more.
The
Jaguars.
the Eagles would. The Cowboys would. The
Jaguars,
Redskins
yes.
would. The Giants would.
Jaguars,
All right.
yes. Chargers,
Jaguars would. I'm telling you, the only team that wouldn't is Buffalo and Kansas City.
Buffalo even.
No.
Yeah, he could get injured.
Nah, they could all get injured. Josh Allen is entrenched. You're not taking Arch Manning over Josh Allen. Not right now.
I
right.
think you're right. I think you're right.
Number 7, Cam Coleman.
Little
Whoa.
surprised here. Little surprised. I think he's a top 15, top 20 guy, but I think him at Texas is what's making him jump up. Like the opportunities now that he's going to have in Austin is why he's almost as high as he is.
This is too y'all recruit nicks can't hype up high school kids on their specs anymore. So now we're transitioning to hyping up existing players based on traits and not actual
Production.
Production. It's your fault, Justin.
The problem is that he had a golfer as his offensive play caller last year.
Scratch golfer at that.
Like watching, granted, it was Georgia, and I was trying to figure out what he was doing against Georgia. And the Hugh Freeze's best idea was let's try to find some opportunities in RPOs or just give Cam Coleman the ball. And that meant he didn't have a route tree last year. And he still was pretty good. He didn't have a quarterback last year. He was pretty good. Like, once we see this guy going over the middle and doing some other stuff, I think everybody is going to understand why he actually should be here.
He's not number 7 in May. He'll be number 7 in September. October.
Here's where I'm a little bit curious.
Oh my God.
Look,
this is where it falls off the tracks, fellas.
I think there's justifiable projection. No, I'm not done. I think there's justifiable projection here, but I don't think a ranking of the top players of college football needs projection of Sam Leavitt in a Kiffin offense. He's good, but he's not the best quarterback in college football.
He's not the second best quarterback in college football either.
Trinidad Chambliss went to the semifinals last year.
That's a good point. Would you take Leavitt or Chambliss going into 2026? Because I know who I would take.
Chambliss.
So what is this list of trying to accomplish?
Do you know who else would take Chambliss?
Engagement and conversation.
Do you know who else would take Chambliss? Lane Kiffin. He tried.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'm never going to forget is that Leavitt was, and market dynamics always change things up. Leavitt was not his first option. It was, what is it, Malik Washington? Is that his name? No. Malik Washington's at Maryland.
I didn't even know he was talking. That kid is good.
No,
that kid had a great year last year.
Who's the kid at Washington?
Oh, Desmond Williams.
Desmond Williams.
Now, yeah. They did try to get him. They did. That kid might be top 5 quarterback in college football this year, fellas. I
And
want to
then-
see where his name is on this list.
When Desmond Williams realized that he had signed a contract, and Damon Williams, when he realized he had signed a contract and it probably wasn't a good idea to leave in the middle of a fellow Washington Husky athlete funeral, that's when Lane had to go to Knoxville, where Levitt was on his visit to Tennessee, to try to convince him to come to LSU because just the hand was misplayed there.
I forgot about Williams' agent overplaying his client's hand.
No, his agent quit. His agent was like,
Yeah.
His agent, no, I know, but they had to bring in like a random lawyer to fix. It was like a Twitter lawyer at that.
The agent didn't mess that up. Williams did. And people
I will
around.
say in Levitt's defense, not a great sign of Damon Williams' growth potential as a decision maker and game manager.
Yeah, I would play for Jed Fish.
No, I mean that he tried to pull that nonsense.
Oh,
I think he was told by people in his circle that's what you do.
It's still not great.
No,
yes,
no,
I just
no.
don't think that the person was his agent. That's why. Because remember, the agent's like, I'm not representing him. Nope.
Anymore. Okay.
I think that's also somebody in the circle who Texas was familiar with when it comes to a certain defensive tackle. Number 9. So we got 2 quarterbacks before Arch.
3 quarterbacks for Arch.
Oh yeah, 3. That's right.
Hey, if you ask those guys in Columbus, they say this number 9 ranking is justified. Now, granted, these are people that have chosen to live in Columbus, Ohio, so you have to measure that. But there's a lot of people. And hey, listen, this is a guy that Sark really wanted. This is a guy Sark really liked for a reason. And he's throwing to Jesus and the disciples this year. So there's some justification here. He's not a top 3 quarterback, but I think he's going to have a great year.
He's not throwing to Peter because John himself told us that guy's slow.
Yeah, apparently Judas went to Central Florida or South Florida.
Yeah, Peter had to transfer to Notre Dame.
This guy doesn't make mistakes.
Nope.
And that has incredible value,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you have Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, Chris Henry Jr., Jeremiah Smith, and a pretty good run
Didn't he
game.
make some mistakes against Indiana?
Everyone made mistakes against Indiana. Chris Bennett has a really good point here. Would Sayin be in Austin if Arch went elsewhere? I'm going to say over 50%. Yes, he would have been the guy if Arch wasn't the take. Everyone made mistakes against Miami.
Didn't the redshirt freshman make mistakes against the national finalists?
I think Julian Sayin's pretty good.
Like that happens.
I think he's better than Sam Levitt. He doesn't have the physical tools of Dante Moore, but he's not going to make dumb mistakes like Dante Moore either. Ian's beside himself. Where's Arch Manning on this list?
Right here.
Number 10.
And I think one thing we always forget in this ranking stuff is like he's the number 10 player in college football. There are 138 teams. There are literally what 1,500 college football players, and 4 of the top 25 wear burnt orange. Like we are splitting. We're not splitting atoms because we're not blowing anything up, but like we're splitting
neutrinos. The truth is Arch Manning should probably be in the top 5, but if they put Arch in the top 5, on 3 gets blowback. Oh, he's a Manning. You put him up there. He was terrible at the beginning of the year. That's what the casual fan will say. You put Arch Manning at 10 behind 3 other quarterbacks, buddy, the replies, the engagements, the clicks, it's like a powder keg. They knew exactly what they were doing with this list.
With the exception of Levitt, Sayin and Moore were more productive and had more success last year.
So what?
That doesn't make them better quarterbacks.
Patrick Mahomes has been like a mid-tier statistical wise quarterback for like 5 years in the NFL. And then his teams go to the Super Bowl and win almost every year until last year when his supporting cast retired midseason.
And Travis Kelce.
Is everybody who had better stats than Patrick Mahomes for the last 5 years better than Patrick Mahomes?
There's like half the league.
Fair.
It's great for conversation.
Yes. Yes, they are. There are a couple more Longhorns in the top 20.
Let's see what else we got. Let's run through them. Let's see what else
Arch
we got.
Manning didn't
Rapid fire.
have
Carter Smith.
Oh, come on.
Dude, Carter Smith above Trevor Gooseby.
We won't.
Everything I said about engagement, I'm doubling down on it now.
It won't take long to get to Gooseby.
Carter Smith cannot drop step 360 dunk. Carter Smith cannot hold 7 NFL draft picks from the SEC on the edge to no sacks in 2025. Don't miss me. Carter Smith is a good offensive tackle in college. Trevor Gooseby is a future franchise left tackle in the NFL. We're having some fun today, fellas.
This is schizophrenic.
Chris just nailed it. Will Campbell over Kelvin Banks all over again. And
1
we saw
minute
how that played out in 2025.
1 minute they're like Cam Coleman has the best potential of anybody. And then the next minute they're like Carter Smith, proven left tackle on a champion. For a team that didn't pass protect. For a team where like almost every throw was an RPO or play action.
But how could Indiana be the reigning national champion and not have a guy, close on this list? It's almost like a token guy. Well, Indiana's returning some guys. We got to put their best player in here.
Their best players were drafted.
Amen. Kevon Lacey's a dog, dude. This is a kid I was hoping Texas would kind of poke on and try to go into.
Running back 1, that makes sense to me. I don't have any
Lancaster, Texas.
He could maybe be higher. He was a very good player. There's Gooseby.
There's Gooseby at number 13, tackle 2. Texas Tech has 8 players on this list.
If you spend $3 million on every player you try to sign, you're going to have some of those guys.
I'm not sure if I can name 8 Texas Tech players that I think
I can't.
Should be on here.
Where did this guy transfer from?
Houston.
U of H.
I do like him. I do think he's good.
They'll have the production because of the conference they're in. No question. And they've got that big Friday Night Lights game with Houston during the year. I mean, Texas Tech's spotlight game is on a Friday night.
This is very sad. This is a very savvy pick by whoever wrote this, so I'll give him credit. I do think Holmes is very good.
Token Iowa lineman.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Off Iowa offensive tackle. Yes, sure.
Maud Hardy, you can make an argument. Hardy and Lacey could be 1A, 1B in a sense.
Yeah,
I hope he's okay. Didn't he get shot?
He got shot. There is optimism, I think, that he can play at some point this year. This sounds so weird to say. Hopefully, it was like Plexico Burress, where it just hit muscle and nothing else.
I don't know how much damage that does to a muscle relative to like the injuries that I'm used to seeing recovery times for.
Wasn't Plexico close to retirement already anyway?
Is this equivalent to a grade 2 or a grade 3 quad strain? I don't know.
I don't even know how to answer that. 17. Jaden Ball. We're on a running back run. He's the only Florida player in the top 100, I believe, which is surprising. I mean, Dallas Wilson was not healthy enough to prove how good he was last year.
Okay, they didn't matter with Cam Coleman,
but he was healthy.
And Cam was more productive. Dallas Wilson literally had 2 games.
Coleman was not very productive last year, though.
More than Dallas Wilson's 2 games is what we're saying. And plus, Wilson is younger. But Ball, you can't go wrong with Ball. Ball's an old school running back. Like, I think the NFL is going to love a Jaden Ball. If you're playing fantasy football in 3 years, Jaden Ball is probably a running back you want on your roster.
Caden Green, I'll
take this. I'm not arguing with this. This kid has turned himself into a freaking monster. I think he's a DFW kid, if I remember correctly.
No, he's
Missouri.
He's Kansas City.
He's Kansas City. Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if he was one of the Allen kids they brought in. Atkins, we recognize that guy.
Yeah, that was a name that
we had a pre-written commit story on that one.
We were tracking him in the portal, and I think he decided to stick around. That was the big one.
Yeah, I think Auburn increased his revenue.
David Stone, we finally get a Sooner.
Why is it okay? Ian knows Oklahoma better than anybody on the planet, including the writers in Norman. Is David Stone, is it one of those things where he flashes once or twice a month and you see like this incredible ability and you're like, holy moly, that guy could take over a defensive line, and then you don't see anything for a couple games? Am I right or wrong, Ian?
Yes and no. I think he flashes a lot more than that.
Okay.
But then he also has plays where he can't blow by people and you see some flaws.
Okay.
Why didn't Ball come to Texas? All things were about equal, and he chose Florida.
He chose to stay home. They thought bringing in Jaluk would actually help there, but Florida was very motivated to keep this guy. And they weren't as motivated before they fired their coach. When they hired their new one, the new coach became very motivated to keep him.
Florida hasn't been like a big name on like, whoa, they did this in the transfer portal, because like Napier was on the hot seat entering last season, and then they had this whole change. But they're very good at retention. Like that is something they're extremely strong at, and especially with the players that they want. Trades Green, LSU, first tight end.
Best tight end in college football.
He's going to be real good. That's going to be.
I forgot they have him. He's going to be sick in that offense.
It's going to be a mismatch.
They have
in Death Valley.
I retweeted this thing a little while back on this some of the play action tight end leak stuff that Gronk used to kill on and Sark uses all the time. Kiffin has got like this whole similar package where he's like releasing the tight end from different angles off run action that are really nasty, and it's going to be a real bear with that guy running the routes.
He's got the best quarterback, or the second best quarterback in college football to throw to, apparently.
There's that too.
We get to Lenoris.
Huh.
2 years ago? Sure. 2026? No.
If we're, and I can understand apprehension about this, if we're going to discount the surrounding pieces for Cam Coleman and be like, yeah, it's fine that he's still up there, I tend to do that with Lenoris, because all the guys that they had blocking for him in that good 2024 year where they approached the playoff, they all left and the replacements sucked.
And he had to become a quarterback that goes through legitimate reads. And that's
he had time for
one. A problem.
He had time for like one of them. Like they were terrible on, like,
I don't think he could have gone to the next read that well.
Still won't.
Yeah. Like this kid's got tons of talent.
Browse isn't going to make him.
He's the top. Oh God, could you imagine? Oh man.
Now he doesn't have to worry about that.
Yep.
He got the wrong Browse.
Yeah, dude, it's weird that the son's the worst at running the offense.
The son is the worst. The son-in-law is the good one.
Anthony Knapp. I can't say I know much about a Notre Dame interior lineman, but
no argument.
I guess he was like one of those freshmen who had to play against Ohio State and has just kind of matured from there.
Notre Dame offensive lineman is like an Iowa offensive lineman. Check.
He played. He had to play. He got forced into action as a freshman as a left tackle all year. Held it, and then they went to the championship. Last year they were going to move him to guard, and then they had to play him at tackle a bunch again. Now they're finally moving him to guard. So the assumption is, here's this super plus guy. Now he gets to play a more natural position.
I can do it.
Like if we'd actually finally been able to move Justin Blaylock to guard back in the day. I think that's the idea.
They pulled a guy from my wife's high school up in Connecticut, and he was like the number 4 overall prospect. So maybe that's one of the tackles they got. Jair Hill, Michigan, no argument here. Actually,
dude, Kelly Jones. I don't know much about Jair Hill, but Kelly Jones, we learned about this guy in Starkville.
I think he is going to do
great things in the NFL.
I think what recruitniks may have thought DJ Pickett was supposed to be, Kelly Jones actually is.
Preach, Bubba.
And
Preach.
DJ Pickett's probably still going to be pretty good. He's on this list.
Kelly
So
Jones has some nasty to him, dude.
let me find. There were 2 other Longhorns that made the list, and I will tell you where they're at. Rasheem Biles was. You know what? Let me just search Biles. How about that?
Jelani McDonald should be on here before Rasheem Biles.
Rasheem Biles was on here, number 71. I don't know about that. Rasheem Biles was like,
You don't what I just said. You're disagreeing.
yeah.
Hopefully, this is a good debate after the season. You'll know this season went well if this is still a good debate after the season.
Good call.
And then, do y'all know
There's
who
a
the
Texas
last?
Tech
Who?
guy.
Okay, who was the last inclusion?
I'm gonna guess one of the running backs.
No,
I thought it might be Melvin Siani. It should be Alex January, but it's probably going to be one of the running backs. And I'm gonna guess Smothers.
Bo Masco.
Justin, you should have gone with your instinct. Siani is number 94.
Yeah, I would probably argue that too.
Austin Romaine, 98.
That dude, yeah, he should be higher.
You think so?
I watched him play a little bit because I
I didn't
remember.
watch him last year. I saw him the year before.
I remember when he jumped in the portal. I'm like, ooh, this should be someone that they
Okay.
go for.
Keon Saab needs to go up. Marcus Fletcher Jr. definitely needs to go up. You could make an argument he's better than Kewan Lacey. Did you watch that guy run the football in the playoffs last year? My goodness. He was the best thing that has ever happened to Carson Beck that wasn't a twin basketball player at Miami. Absolutely the best thing.
I'm trying to slowly go through some stuff, see some names.
PJ Williams. Look at
Yeah.
that. That's a Dickinson kid that went to A&M. A&M said you're not good enough. Now he's bouncing his way into mock drafts. CJ Carr is the kid that everyone says, oh, it's Arch. Oh, it's Dante Moore. Oh, it's Sam Levitt. And they're like, don't sleep on the Carr. Don't sleep on the Carr. I don't think CJ's year's this year, but if when they do this list for next year, CJ Carr's going to be in the top 10.
Landino and Carter are both really good players.
KJ Bolden should be a little bit higher, I think. I think this is right on target for JKS too.
I'm curious how he looks this year. If he continues it, this guy is probably up on this list too. He's
still got,
toolsy, man. He is very toolsy.
and they retained Rolovich and Yurcich. Or not Rolovich and Yurcich, Rolovich and Harsin.
Cal's also spending money in the portal. And they're going out and recruiting a wider base.
I guess last thing to go over, 2 Aggies. Ratcliffe was here, and Craver was number 33.
Ratcliffe may not even start next year.
Who's going to start in front of him?
Byard from Colorado.
Oh, interesting.
And I just controlled F John Mateer, and he's not up here. I don't think that's any surprise.
Right.
That's
It's a fun list. It's when
I go
it
back and forth.
served its purpose. We got some good, fun conversation and debate out of it. We probably agreed a little bit more than we should because the only thing the fans love when we argue, but sometimes we agree.
Couple questions to get out. When was the last time Texas had a good run offensive line?
2006.
23. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
It was good. Right.
It was
good.
good.
You're right.
You don't get 1,000-yard rusher in 10 games without a good offensive line.
You could argue 16.
I was about to say that too. And a lot of that
Was
was
that the Foreman 2K year?
Yeah.
But wasn't that just like the offensive based? Was that really the O-line being a good run O-line, or was that more of the scheme fitting what they were trying to do? Because didn't they run the same play 30 times with Deontay in the game?
But some of that was that,
And that was
Connor Williams and Patrick Vahe were
Okay.
a good tandem on the – it's Connor Williams, right? I have my
Connor Williams, yeah.
– Connor Williams and Patrick Vahe were were pretty formidable on the left side. Also, Caleb Blewett, although he's not a lineman, he was kind of a big deal too. That guy was like the closest thing to Swaim we've had since Swaim.
Didn't Smothers just sign an NIL deal? Yes, it's with a.
That was Raleek Brown. Was that?
No, it was Smothers, and he did I think it's like a memorabilia thing. So like that's who he goes through for signing autographs. And what's the other big entity that does stuff like that, Justin?
Honestly, what's that?
TriStar?
TriStar is one of them. Listen, Joe, there's like 30 of them now.
Right.
Like, I mean, and honestly, they're all about the same. I think TriStar is one of your higher ups.
Yeah.
But now in the age of breaking and the breaks and stuff like that, like there's like 30 different ones that do it. Just, Brock Williams has his one-on-one card going up for auction today, Texas fans. So like they're tapping into the collectible market because of the stock. If it was a stock, it's been the highest rising stock in America for the last 8 years. And it's just outperforming every other stock you can invest in. It's insane. So everyone's kind of going that collectible route. The truth is, though, a lot of it is just thrown together. It doesn't have long-term sustainability. But, yeah, he's because you've got a guy like Patrick Mahomes with Panini. Well, Panini lost all their licenses. So Patrick's out of that contract July 1st. You got Arch Manning with Panini. But I can tell you that's going to get renegotiated in the summertime, next summer, whenever he gets ready for the draft, because Panini no longer has those NFL rights. So there's so much stuff going on when it comes to that stuff. Just tread lightly when spending, because a lot of it is new material, new stock. It's not actually proven out in the market yet.
This one, who's going to be quarterback for Texas in 27? Man,
KJ Lacey.
I was about to say, there's no way of knowing that right now.
No, but we'll give the benefit of the doubt. After what we saw in the spring, I think KJ can take the reins. It'll just be, if Texas wins the national championship, it's going to be Diabell. If Texas struggles or for whatever reason happens, it'll be KJ Lacey.
I think it'll depend on who the coach is.
I mean, that's
huge. I think that may be the biggest factor is if we keep Sark.
There's no reason for us to speak that into existence in May.
If Sark wants to go to the NFL and this is his chance, then that could change a lot.
Yeah, but I think they're trying to keep Easton Royal, so I think they want you to shut up.
Last one. Did Canoe get a deal with Rudy's Barbecue?
They all did.
A lot of players have gotten lots of deals with local businesses. That's what Texas One Fund has largely tried to implement and bring players to. Of course, there's still collective deals, but one of the big things that since the House settlement last year that Texas One Fund has really tried to do is bring players to local businesses.
Yes.
Get them. This is real NIL. This is really inscrutable stuff because it is a player in Austin who people know working with brands that people know. And it is hard for anybody up in the CSC to be like, oh, I don't know if this works. Da, 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 da. So
the D linemen all got something.
Rudy's. Yeah. I think I saw it. Jelani McDonald got the local McDonald's franchises. Siani, who is he's from Canada. He played in Philadelphia. Then he played in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and he got Tacovas. So we got Melvin Siani in some boots.
I have some of those. They're great.
Which is a pretty good. NIL does a lot of cool stuff.
Texas One Fund does an amazing job doing that. You know what Inside Texas does really well? We bring the content to the masses. We bring the smiles. We bring the cheers, the celebrations. Come join us at Inside Texas right now. We got a flash sale. It really is the best time to sign up. I know I said that the last few months, but I mean it this time. $1 for 3 months. Get you everything. Insider team intel as we start to get into the month of June. We're going to have those team workouts. Also, official visit season's right around the corner. Camp season is right around the corner. We posted earlier. We got some major 5-stars from 2028 headed to the ATX on May 31st. Something else to check out. There's so much going on at Inside Texas right now. We don't even have enough time to tell you about it. Come see us. Let us earn your business. Let's go.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on IT Live on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com.